Hello everybody, this is Joey with a little update to the video game Cove. And you can check back on the previous video to see how much has changed since then, but I'm just going to run through only a handful of items that have changed and might be interesting, and maybe some plans of where things will go after this point. So, let's start off with one thing that's almost better. It's almost there, I promise. So, I've wanted to do some game streaming and capturing footage for a long time. I mean, even before 2015, but I definitely remember then when I got my first Elgato HD60 capture module device thing. And there it is! In the moving, it's been lost for quite some time. I finally found it, hooked it up, and it almost works. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with a MacBook, so I had to grab one of my older PCs, make sure it was still running, and then be able to use it, make sure it's still updated and properly picking up footage and everything like that. So that's one thing that's a plus. I can now hook up things through HDMI, which is most of the systems in here, and be able to capture footage on my PC and then edit that as I'd like to, or I could just still use the option for streaming on twitch.tv/maniacforbricks using the PS4 and the Xbox One. They have stream boxes built into them, but I don't think they do a lot for capturing footage, at least of my knowledge right now. I only know that it can capture only so much at a time, and don't even know where it could transfer after that for me to edit footage and be able to use it for other YouTube videos, which I would like to do. And then I would be, more than happy to talk more about video games, video game collecting, and things like that with the footage, as a visual, instead of just seeing all the hardware and discs and controllers and such. This area has changed. So the Wii Rack used to be over here. One of the later alphabetized racks was over on that side. I had actually danced back and forth in the last video where I said I'm not sure if it's going to be enough room to fit it over there. It turns out it was. It had to be a little bit angled and a little bit jagged, where those top and bottom ball pieces had to collide with each other, couldn't fit literally side by side, but this is still good. You can still reach any of the games at any given time, and I'm still I still have room available to expand it, which I did. I had Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts a little later than some of the other games in here, and after alphabetizing everything, of course. So now I have to shift them all around, and then it'll be back in place. And yes, this was a game that I had actually grown up with shortly into the Xbox 360 library. There's a few other games like that I would still collect because they're ones I grew up with. Even if I, didn't take much interest in them at the time, I would definitely go back now and try them out and hopefully get more out of it than I did originally. Nuts and Bolts, I know, is kind of the black sheep of the Banjo-Kazooie franchise, but still has some merit. Still, if you don't consider it as much a Banjo-Kazooie game, it's fine. It's not groundbreaking or anything, but it does the job as it needs to. I know Burnout Paradise is another one in here that I would get at some later time, and like I said, there's still room for expansion between the Wii and the 360. Another update to here is that the HDMI Splitters, there's finally 2 of them, because before I'd only had 1. So I only had a couple of systems hooked up through here originally, and then I had the Wii and the Wii U, and the Switch were basically only in handheld mode, could not actually transmit them to the TV. Well, now that's changed. I actually had the Philips HDMI splitter put up here. I've had that for a while and finally found it while unpacking things. So now it'll pick up on either of them. And the good thing about these splitters, I'm only going to use one system, maybe 2 tops at a time. So it'll pick up between the systems, and the TV itself will pick up which ones are actually running. So I may not always have to use a button or a remote to actually switch between them. It sometimes does that automatically, which is really neat. Just a cool feature. As far as everything else, I think it's pretty much the same. I did have another PS4 game that I got recently from my friend Nathan, aka Sega, here on YouTube. This was a game that he didn't want any more. He's played through a lot more PS4 games than I have, especially faster than I have. So I haven't actually delved into anything from this Middle Earth series, but this is Shadow of War, and it's gonna be hard for me to go in without a lot of Lord of the Rings context. I only know that much, but hopefully I will catch up on that at a later time, and then have something in the background for playing the games. I also added Parappa the Rapper in here as more of a PlayStation icon. If I had a Crash Bandicoot, it would be here too. And it kind of fills out a little bit more of that background space, and also eliminating the wire mess that's behind them without overheating or anything like that. Ventilation should still be fine with the system. Other than that, a handful of other controllers and wires and headphones, headsets are still moving about the place, whether it's in here or in the other video game room. And I will update about that one a little bit later. Not exactly at the same time as this one, but roughly the same amount of progress is updated, sometime around there. But I just won't be able to record it immediately after this one goes up. But thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I've actually been working on a bunch of video game related videos of collections, updating about each of the systems, my history with any of them, tops and bottoms, favorites, all the kinds of stuff. And it's a little bit longer for me to get those videos out because, like I said, I need to record footage, and I have that available now. As far as AV systems, like the GameCube, I will try other methods. I do have an AV capture card that I got recently. I still have to test it out and make sure everything works fine with it. But that one is a potential option as well, so we'll see how that goes. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time with more videos. Peace, love, and fun.